one being representing a man for Uptown TV. You understand?
Sama batachinoi, besama yemet nor, sami kades mangustimta, fegadi besama indionech, endi hu bemedir tihun, yala tenjarachnen sitenzare, bedelachnem ikkar belen, igna yebedelnen ikkaren demenil, awada fetna matagban, kakifu adenenen fi, mengist yante antanantana, highly amaskan, lizlealem.
In the name of the African ancestors who began the march of humankind in the womb of Mother Africa, we ask these ancestors to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of the African ancestors who began the march of humankind in the womb of Mother Africa and marched down the Nile, laying the foundations for human civilization and culture, we ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of these African ancestors who built their pyramids and their temples to their God concepts, to their principles, and to their moral values, who left us a legacy of architectural and monumental building unparalleled in the history of the world, we ask these ancestors who built the pyramids, who built the temples, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask these African ancestors who took this African culture and extended it throughout Africa, building the stone cities of Zimbabwe, building the empires of the Sudan, Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, building the Swahili city-states along the east coast of Africa, and in Christian Africa asking King Lalibela and giving him the courage to build the 12 churches of Lalibela from the ground down, monuments to the world. We ask these Africans who spread this culture to the Dogo and to the Akan and to the Yoruba and to the Bankongo and to the Zulu. We ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of the Africans who opened up Africa, opened up the Nile Valley to other cultures and other peoples, and they came in and nurtured themselves on the African greatness. First coming in early were the ancient Hebrews, and they synthesized this culture and produced Judaism. Later coming in were the Christians, and they synthesized this culture and produced Christianity. Coming in were also the Greeks, who took the African culture, synthesized it, and produced Greek civilization. And then later, the Prophet Muhammad, and with the Arabs coming into the Nile Valley, they synthesized the culture and produced Islam. We ask these African ancestors, who as part of their legacy laid the foundations for Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Greek civilization, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask those African ancestors pulled out of Africa, taken to the hells of North America, South America, the Caribbean, maintaining the spirit of African humanity in their hearts and in their minds, and who left us this enormous legacy of struggle. We ask those Africans who resisted enslavement in the villages of Africa, who resisted enslavement in the shores of Africa, who resisted enslavement in those forts and dungeons, who resisted enslavement in the holds of those ships, who resisted enslavement when they arrived on these shores in the New World. We ask these Africans who ran into the highlands of northeast Brazil and established for 100 years the first free republic in the Americas, the Republic of Palmares, and their last great leader, Zumbi, whose spirit and sacrifice. We ask these Africans who replicated the Brazilian experience and went into the highlands of Jamaica and became the maroon free communities. We ask these Africans who went into the backwoods of the Guyanas and Suriname and created free republic of the Suramaka and the Ajuka. We ask these Africans who went into the backwoods of Georgia and the swamps of Florida and moved with the Seminole Indians and resisted oppression. We ask these Africans who left us a legacy of struggle and resistance, the likes of which no one in the world has, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask these Africans who created and laid for us a foundation of struggle and resistance that was passed on generation after generation, that was passed on to Harriet Tubman, who fought her way out of enslavement and became a symbol of freedom for all of us. Similarly, Frederick Douglass and hundreds of thousands of others fought their way out of enslavement. We ask those Africans who went with Boukman Dessalines to create the greatest revolutionary experience in the history of the world, the Haitian Revolution, leaving us a legacy, the likes of which no one else has had. We ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future.
Let us start our class with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, Jesus Christ, Bhagavan Krishna, Mahavatar Babaji, Larry Mahashai, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, our Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, we bow to all of you. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, great Gurus, receive our love, receive our desire to love you more, to attune our hearts and minds with your great presence. Om.
Sama batachinoi, besamai emetnor, sami kades mangustiimta, fegadi besamai indionech, endihu bemedir tihun, yala tenjarachnen sitenzare, bedelachnem ikkar belen, igna yebedelnen ikkaren demenil, awadafet namatagban, kakifu adenenen fi, mengist yante antanantana, highly amaskan, lizlealem.
In the name of the African ancestors who began the march of humankind in the womb of Mother Africa, we ask these ancestors to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of the African ancestors who began the march of humankind in the womb of Mother Africa and marched down the Nile, laying the foundations for human civilization and culture, we ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of these African ancestors who built their pyramids and their temples to their God concepts, to their principles, and to their moral values, who left us a legacy of architectural and monumental building unparalleled in the history of the world, we ask these ancestors who built the pyramids, who built the temples, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask these African ancestors who took this African culture and extended it throughout Africa, building the stone cities of Zimbabwe, building the empires of the Sudan, Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, building the Swahili city-states along the east coast of Africa, and in Christian Africa asking King Lalibela and giving him the courage to build the 12 churches of Lalibela from the ground down, monuments to the world. We ask these Africans who spread this culture to the Dogo and to the Akan and to the Yoruba and to the Bankango and to the Zulu. We ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of the Africans who opened up Africa, opened up the Nile Valley to other cultures and other peoples, and they came in and nurtured themselves on the African greatness. First coming in early with the ancient Hebrews, and they synthesized this culture and produced Judaism. Later coming in were the Christians, and they synthesized this culture and produced Christianity. Coming in were also the Greeks, who took the African culture, synthesized it, and produced Greek civilization. And then later, the Prophet Muhammad, and with the Arabs coming into the Nile Valley, they synthesized the culture and produced Islam. We ask these African ancestors, who as part of their legacy laid the foundations for Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Greek civilization, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask those African ancestors pulled out of Africa, taken to the hells of North America, South America, the Caribbean, maintaining the spirit of African humanity in their hearts and in their minds, and who left us this enormous legacy of struggle. We ask those Africans who resisted enslavement in the villages of Africa, who resisted enslavement in the shores of Africa, who resisted enslavement in those forts and dungeons, who resisted enslavement in the holds of those ships, who resisted enslavement when they arrived on these shores in the New World. We ask these Africans who ran into the highlands of northeast Brazil and established for 100 years the first free republic in the Americas, the Republic of Palmares, and their last great leader, Zumbi, whose spirit and sacrifice. We ask these Africans who replicated the Brazilian experience and went into the highlands of Jamaica and became the maroon-free communities. We ask these Africans who went into the backwoods of the Guyanas and Suriname and created free republic of the Suramaka and the Ajuka. We ask these Africans who went into the backwoods of Georgia and the swamps of Florida and moved with the Seminole Indians and resisted oppression. We ask these Africans who left us a legacy of struggle and resistance, the likes of which no one in the world has, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask these Africans who created and laid for us a foundation of struggle and resistance that was passed on generation after generation, that was passed on to Harriet Tubman, who fought her way out of enslavement and became a symbol of freedom for all of us. Similarly, Frederick Douglass and hundreds of thousands of others fought their way out of enslavement. We asked as Africans who went with Boukman Dessalines to create the greatest revolutionary experience in the history of the world, the Haitian Revolution, leaving us a legacy, the likes of which no one else has had. We ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future.
Let us start our class with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, beloved God, Jesus Christ, Bhagavan Krishna, Mahavatar Babaji, Lari Mahashai, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, our Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, we bow to all of you. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, great Gurus, receive our love, receive our desire to love you more, to attune our hearts and minds with your great presence. Om, peace.
Ooh, something. And we'll talk about that another time. Let's not get carried away. But what a week. What a week. What a past few couple of days. And also we can't underestimate this, because there's been a high degree of preparedness and compliance on the island. We were asking if June was too soon when we heard that Beryl and others were heading up and lining up for the Caribbean waters. Question this morning about solar power. Every time we have a situation like this, we have discussions about solar energy. And individually, I know that there are many Jamaicans who have gone out and have ensured that you have solar energy, solar power privately at your home. Not many Jamaicans can afford that. But I'm not quite sure how they did it in Barbados for so many to have access to solar power. But I think we probably could look at that model and to say how we ourselves can do that here in Jamaica. It does make a difference. Jamaica, who have lost roofs, who have lost houses, who have lost so much in the hurricane. Farmers, I know that this is a big one. Lots of trees uprooted, lots of bearing fruits on the ground, tree-bearing fruits on the ground, lots of young fruits scattered. The breadfruit trees all across Jamaica have shed their young breadfruit. The fruit-bearing trees have uprooted and have gone for a walk, and it is catastrophic in terms of the agricultural sector. And this is one of my main concerns right now, because the breadbasket of Jamaica, for example, St. Elizabeth, also has gone through a very, very traumatic time, still going through that, still picking up the pieces. And I really want to reach out to our sisters and brothers, our families in St. Elizabeth, in the southern Jamaica. It's time to say our hearts with you. So much we've lost, but at the same time, we're thankful for life. We're thankful for each other. So let us use the breath that we have and the life that we have, understanding that this has been a very, very traumatic one for so many of us, to help ourselves and also to, as best as we can, help each other. I went through this hurricane on the northeastern coast of Jamaica, and believe me, it was a rough one. It was a very, very rough one. I know there are parts in Jamaica where you're wondering what I'm talking about, because you didn't experience anything like that. But I can tell you, there are many of us who went through a real Category 4 hurricane, and at some time just left it to the ancestors and left it to the universe and say, okay, now you take over. You do your thing. You do your thing. We're just thankful to be here. I'm laughing, but it was traumatic. But as I said before, we're thankful for life and we're thankful for each other. So let's Ubuntu. Hunu Ubuntu. I am because you are. I am well if you too are well. How you doing? So that even if you have your radio with your batteries, you're not able to pick up anything because you have no signals where you are. We are also aware of that. And let's reach out to our neighbors, let's reach out to our friends, let's reach out to our brothers and our sisters. Let us ask how each other is doing. So I know I didn't get a chance to reach out to every single one, but I want to say thank you, Midasi, to everyone who reached out, who asked how you're doing. And some of those messages I didn't get until very long after because there was just no access to information, no communication at all. Communication totally broken down as a result of Hurricane Beryl. So, but I want to say that I've received most of your messages now, responded to most of your messages. If I haven't responded to you yet, then I'll do so. But thank you so much for your care, for your concern, and just for reaching out to say how you're doing. And continue to do that with just anyone you know, because I know there are some places in Jamaica that wasn't. Listen, there are some areas, some parishes in Jamaica where there's devastation still, where people are still picking up the pieces, and this is what we need to know. And so that the narrative coming out of parts of Jamaica might appear. Or make it appear as if, it missed us, so it could have been worse, it missed us. It's all true. But for many, it's worse. For many, they're still picking up the pieces. For many, they're still trying to come to terms with just living. Parliament approved the contentious law in April declaring Rwanda a safe third country, which bypassed an earlier UK Supreme Court ruling that said the scheme was unlawful on human rights grounds. A good move by Keir Starmer. It was going to happen, whether it was Keir Starmer or Richard Sunak or Boris Johnson. The changes of the guard. Keir Starmer is... As I said, it is, 601 and half dozen of the other. It really isn't. I suppose British people and people in the UK might begin to think that they're, it might be different and they're looking for something different. I find that with all these elections that are happening now, apart from the ones where we have the far right winning elections, we're watching what's happening in France, for example. I don't know. Israel and Israel's genocide in Gaza is on every ballot. And whether it was Conservatives or the Labour who won in the UK's election, it was still going to be the very same foreign policy regarding Israel, regarding Africa, regarding the Caribbean. And so it is what it is. When we're looking at it through the global specs, the global lens of people in developing countries or people who are oppressed or people who are looking at genocide and calling it what it is, then the UK election is the gimmick. Articles written about that going all the way back to Farage at the European Parliament and looking at Brexit and whether the role that Brexit played in the Conservatives being where they are, which I think it really did play a big role. They must have known. I can't believe that they didn't know that this is where it would lead them. But so Farage was all over that. Then he skipped out of it once Brexit happened. Then we saw Boris Johnson, and he was a whole mess from the beginning to the ending, and still a mess. COVID and the debacle, and they're still reeling from that, and we're all affected by some of the decisions that they made there in the UK and the US, obviously. We see elections in France because Macron panicked, and so there are elections in France. The far right, Marine Le Pen, is about to win, or so it appears. French elections are a little bit hard to understand. But once you decide to understand it and get your head around it, you'll appreciate what's happening there. So today is another, I think, test for them. Either way, I think Macron should just pick up his marbles and go. He's another one that... And France has been bleeding Africa dry. So Africa has literally kicked France out. And that's also part of the problem that France is facing right now. And as I talk about Africa kicking France out, I have to come back now to the coalition. The coalition in the Sahel. Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, Ibrahim Traore, forming that coalition in the Sahel. It's a massive, massive move. It's a big, 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 big deal. And so we're literally praying for the strength, praying for the protection, sending all kinds of vibes to these brothers who have decided enough is enough and are moving toward real independence on the continent of Africa. So we see them literally kicking ECOWAS out and saying that we don't care for you. Remember what ECOWAS did during the military coups for independence, for proper independence in the Sahel, in terms of, talking about sending in troops and, putting sanctions on these countries and so on. So they've met and they've said, no more ECOWAS for us. We're forming our own economic zone. We're forming our... Anyway, so this is the situation. So the traitors are many. We see Kenya. Now, we're also looking at South Africa. There's an interesting thing is happening in South Africa. We've been following South Africa for a while. Now, South Africa is in bed with the apartheid, the remnants of apartheid, or more than remnants. They're active, participants, were active participants in the apartheid regime in South Africa, many of them. So, Cyril Ramaphosa has named his cabinet. Interesting, very interesting. One of the junior ministers of education is from the apartheid government. Education, education. And there's much more to it than that. So we see some betrayal and traitor-like behavior coming from South Africa right now. Not only that, one of the first things that South Africa has done on the backside of this election and naming the cabinet is to announce that they're now going into another special relationship with the United States. There goes BRICS. There goes BRICS. South Africa is the S in BRICS. India has also announced a special relationship with the United States. India is the I in BRICS. And there's been an election in India. As for me and my house, we got electricity a few hours ago. From when? From Wednesday. Yeah. Just a few hours ago. So we know the struggle. Hopefully, and JPS has said that they're working pretty hard to ensure that most places, if not all, that electricity is returned in short order. The communication from JPS has been great. I know that people are disappointed, people are frustrated, and so on. But, I also heard what Philip Paulwell said about JPS and kind of prodding them to move faster and to be quick at what they're doing. And I see the complaints and I hear the complaints, and obviously I know that now you probably said, but you got yours a few hours ago, so you're looking at it through these lenses. But I was always, even in the midst of just being as frustrated as everyone else, very aware of how devastating this hurricane was. I saw what happened just in my yard alone, or trees just get up out of the ground and the roots just up in the air and the thing. Like the trees were walking. They went for a stroll. And we're talking about big trees. All of a lemon tree that just got up out of the ground and just walked. So, you know, a lot of the moringa trees, you know, you just were devastated, and so much more. Some trees were resilient, but some just never make it. And then, just driving on the road, just seeing the devastation, just seeing, how many trees are down and how they impacted power lines and are still a threat to power lines, by the way. This is something that I noted, especially this morning, coming through that whole Prospect area, that whole area. There are many, that needs attention urgently, because if not power lines, then vehicles traveling on the roadway. So I'm very aware of this, and I would urge patience. I'd say, you know, let us have a paradigm shift. Let us be a little bit more patient with JPS. And I'm not giving JPS a pass, but I'm saying that I'm very aware of the extent of the devastation across Jamaica and how that might be impacting the extent to which JPS is able. Because even if you clear the trees and so on, I can imagine, you know, what else is left to be done in terms of testing, making sure that everything's okay. We saw power lines on fire. You know, we saw transformers on the ground. People are telling me in different parishes in Jamaica of light posts breaking in two, snapping in two, and just falling on the ground and fire gashing here and there. So these are some of the things I know that they're dealing with. And I usually hold JPS feet to the fire. You know that over the years and during many hurricanes. But I'm saying now, so it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Let us just be a little bit more patient, but also to say to JPS, urgency. Urgency is important. I saw where the Prime Minister has been touring in helicopters and so on. I see the politicians out and what's happening with St. Elizabeth and, you know, the meeting and greeting. That's good PR strategy. I think it's working. But let us not politicize the trauma that people are going through in Jamaica. So I say to Philip Paulwell, do not politicize the trauma. And I say to the Prime Minister of Jamaica, do not politicize. Don't make this a campaign strategy, because we see the campaign situationship. We see the campaign that's happening. And I'm saying to the opposition, do not campaign. This is not a time to campaign. People are genuinely suffering. There's trauma on the island. Take the politics out of it and really try and help people wherever they are, whatever constituency they're in, whoever constituency they belong to. Don't make it be a PNP, JLP situation. This is not the time for it. I say that to Philip Paulwell, I say that to Mark Golding, and I say that to the Prime Minister and his team. Because it's looking very much like a campaign strategy. And we're calling a spade when I come from St. Elizabeth. Another big thing we're seeing is election. Well, election, yeah. We're seeing a whole new kind of reporting on Joe Biden. And I stand by what I said, that for those of us who have had relatives, families, anyone in our family who's had Alzheimer's, dementia, we recognize a few things. And even if you don't have it in your family and you know people, you've been close to people who are going through this, and this is a debilitating degenerative illness. It really is a painful thing to watch, and this is why I wonder about the family of Joe Biden, because they know that something is happening with him. It is under the umbrella, that wide umbrella of dementia. He has all the symptoms, and we're not diagnosing anyone on air. We just recognize all the symptoms. We know that he said that he's not coming out of the race. He's not stepping aside. The latest thing I think he said is that he's going to run. We heard that there was a meeting, a family meeting. Many are saying that this Hunter Biden has taken on a kind of a leadership in the family situation. So between Hunter Biden and Jill Biden, they are very supportive of Joe Biden. But it is without casting any aspirations or without calling them any names or anything. I can imagine that they do have that hope that their loved one, can make it through and miracles can happen, and the medications are coming in and their treatments, and there have been some serious breakthroughs, where Alzheimer's, dementia, and so on is concerned in terms of treatment, and we have discussions now. There was a study published just last month, a peer-reviewed study actually, looking at the possible cure. They are now talking about a cure for Alzheimer's. So he could be on those experimental drugs, and they're hoping for the best. I'm not saying that he is. I don't know. I'm just saying that there's that's ongoing and happening right now, and so that they're hoping for the best. But it's obvious to those of us who know, and even to the untrained eye, that Joe Biden is experiencing dementia, Alzheimer's, you name it. But under that wider umbrella of dementia, there is a problem there. And personally, I don't think he's fit to run. And as I said last week, if this was happening, whether it's Joe Biden or Donald Trump, that if this was happening on the continent of Africa, BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera, every single one of them, ITV, Channel 4, you name it, every single one of those global stations, they would be making a big deal of an African president who seemed, they would call it senile, they would call it dementia, they would call it Alzheimer's, and they would literally carry off a coup. And we see what they did with Robert Mugabe, who was in his right mind, right? They talked about his age. He was old. He had to go. I mean, this old man. And every time somebody comes up in Africa who reaches a certain age, then they throw everything at that African country. Oh, he's old, he has to go. And yet we have 2 geriatrics in the United States. And they don't want to face the fact that these 2 people, of the 2 of them, none of them are fit to stand for election, none of them. In addition to age, one has 34 felony convictions, and the other is showing signs of dementia. And the other one is also showing signs of cognitive decline too. But because Joe Biden's is so it's degenerative, and the progress seemed to be much faster than Donald Trump's, but both of them are showing cognitive decline. And this is what we have, because they are dictating to our leaders what to do and how to do and when to do, all the policies that we're carrying through coming from the United States and the UK and so on. So this is what we're faced with. It's time for us to put ourselves in charge of ourselves. And that includes getting rid of the monarchy as head of state of Jamaica. But the Prime Minister was very proud to report last week, that he had a conversation with King Charles. And even if you're talking to King Charles, keep it to yourself. I want to know how you're doing. And as usual, this is a family, and it's an extended family. And when one hurts, we all hurt. So I want to know how you're doing, where you are, how you're doing. I know many of you who are really, really hurting at the moment and really trying to pick up the pieces won't be able to make this call. You're not even hearing me. But if you're able to, give me a call. Let me know how you're doing, where you are calling from, what the situation is there. If you need to send a message through this medium to JPS or Water Commission or Flow or Digicel, we're opening the phone lines around about 7:30, and just to touch bases with you to find out how you're doing, how you're making through, what's happening with you. 876-618-0352, 876-618-0352. or 876-974-5079. Also says, re-solar power. It is my strong conviction that the Jamaican government should be investing in that. Imagine all the people now unable to charge their phones. Imagine also the amount of power Jamaica could be selling instead of buying. It is one of the main tips I have for the island. Yes. And I think, without knowing too much about how Barbados did it, that's a model we can follow. All right, so all the calls are coming into me. I'll just see what happens, right? Hello, good morning.
Hello, Kabu?
Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear. Is this Peter?
Yeah, man.
Okay,
it's
brilliant.
Peter, man.
Brilliant.
Good morning.
Yes.
Greetings, all the blessings for you and all the good work you're doing. I'm so honored to speak to you, Kabu. Thank you so much for accepting my call.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. I know that you are an environmentalist, and I did speak. I read your text earlier, and maybe you can help us to explain that, because you said, all right. You said it's about Jamaica's financial status. Without economic confidence, the private sector and the wealthy are affected. It's about money always.
Okay, so really briefly and shortly, we should know that if an environmental impact like a storm or a hurricane hits anywhere like Jamaica, it would compromise the financial status and the confidence globally, stock market, private sector, otherwise. So when the Prime Minister comes out and say these kind of things about Jamaica and make things try to stay safe, he's more trying to protect Jamaica financially. And I understand that. Mm-hmm. But the devastating effect, it's a Cat 4. Mm-hmm. So just look at the people in Jamaica. That's all I'm saying. Yes. He's saying that from financially as an environmentalist.
What specifically are you referring to that the Prime Minister said?
Yeah, because the stability, because if you get an environmental impact, mm-hmm. and then it compromises your financial status, investments, people, confidence in Jamaica. So it would hurt the country. Mm-hmm. So he could be masking things. In other words, if Jamaica was devastated, mm-hmm. he couldn't say that, because you have to keep that appeal, that appearance that we're okay as Jamaica, no matter what happens. That's what I'm saying.
But we're in an age of social media, and whereas in some areas, a lot of the images aren't out yet, but a lot's out there. So it's known that Jamaica, that we took a real hard hit, even though it didn't hit us directly. So that's known. Are you referring to what he said about speaking with the King of England?
Yeah, I mean, we're vulnerable, but to try to... I feel like he was, overreaching, like he was too confident in saying that. How can a Cat 4 hit Jamaica and we're not concerned about people like the southern parish, the western parishes? Mm-hmm. People are devastated in Jamaica, and it's not the U.S. I'm in the U.S. Yeah. You understand?
So you're calling
we may get that coverage.
Yeah, you're calling from the U.S. now. Where in the U.S. are you? Because I know the Hurricane Beryl is heading to Texas. Are you anywhere in that area?
No, I'm in Central Florida, and we had impacts of it. It's mostly weather and storms, and climate change is real, and Jamaica infrastructure is fragile. Thank God it wasn't the worst, but we need to be comprehensive of that. Mm-hmm. And as an environmentalist, I'm also a renewable energy engineer, and Jamaica needs to look at that, how our infrastructure, our dependency on fossil fuels, and how we live. Because we have, arbitrated from traditional ways of living naturally, how we grew up, and now it's all chemicals, fertilizers, pesticides. That can't be good. Health-wise, Jamaica it's not the way it used to be, Kabu. But that's another time.
Yes.
But Jamaica needs to take a healthy, holistic look on how we live and how vulnerable we are. And, think about those things.
It's a very good point you make, because when you think about our water sources and the extent to which we're able to store water, we are still depending on the systems that have been put in. A lot of the systems, majority of the systems we have that are in place were built from the 1800s. And so we still depending on some of those as far as storing water is concerned. Then there's the other thing, you talk about energy. What's your thinking on solar energy?
Well, solar energy is beautiful and it's good, but it's a mindset, and everything is comprehensively a mindset. You have to think about Jamaicans, and I'm speaking to you, and I'm speaking to Jamaica on a whole. You buy a new car, you have a house, and you live there, but you're not really thinking. You need to be independent from JPS and fossil fuel, a few solar panels on your roof, a lithium-ion battery, or, a battery can give you a kind of energy dependency where you can live and you can survive. So you need to think about those things. And, it's not about richness and you're smarter than nobody. It's being educated. Just understand what the options are. Those are very good options, and everyone should have that. Like, think about it right now. Jamaica with JPS. I'm going to tell you this. Without even knowing. The island is kind of blacked out right now. And there is a thing called black start. You can't even start back up power like that because the grid takes time to come back up. So all of you people that's out there that are knocked out without power, imagine if you had a few solar panels, a battery backup, a little system to just keep your lights on, to keep your phone charged, to keep in tune. We need to think independent. Because while we're a small island, we can be independent. And it's simple like that.
A lot of people probably feel that they can't afford solar energy. That is without doing the research. And so that there is not this culture of thinking outside of the JPS grid. How do you think persons, or what kind of strategy could agencies, whether it's government or other civil agencies, use to...
Well, you know what? I'm in the U.S. and Jamaica has a big advantage. Look, you have China. You see in the U.S., everything is the U.S. China sells things cheap. Check a local company or something. I'm sorry I can't help everybody, but a solar panel, you need an inverter to change it from DC to AC. You need a little battery. And you need simple things and a plug that can plug things in. Just think about that and see if there's companies that can help you. But Jamaica has a big advantage because you can deal with China and all the world and get things cheaply. Just look at your options. That's what I'm saying.
All right, very good point, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to take you up on that, beginning to do the research, because this, there was Gilbert, there was Ivan, but here we are now, and you talk about this power blackout, which a lot of us don't even understand, that, so there was this almost all, because I think lots of Kingston had electricity throughout the hurricane, but most of the country was without. And you're saying that the process, even that process of booting up, takes a while. This is what I hear you saying, right, Peter?
Yes, it does, because it's called black start, and you can't put everything back on. So even when you have a blackout, it's called a black start. It takes a time to power up. You can't just put everything back online. So even when JPS gets back up, it does take a while. It's called a black start, and it's a process.
Yeah,
so
I know people are impatient because food are spoiled in the fridge. Food spoiled already, we can tell you, for a lot of people. And this is a moment now when you're getting frustrated because, okay, you waited 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and this is when frustration starts to set in. So even while we say patience, we still understand. Thank you so much, Peter. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kabu. Jamaica, be smart and take the moment to maybe re-educate yourself and look at your options and think of your future going forward. And Kabu, water is everywhere. And Jamaica, sometimes you look too much up in the sky. There's underground water and a water table. You can dig wells and pump up wells with even a solar panel and take care of yourself. All of those. Think about these kind of options, Kabu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother.
Safe.
The JPS don't have underground electricity.
Yes, and I asked that question too, and I don't have the answer. What do you think?
Hello?
Yeah, what's your thoughts on it? What do you think? Because I don't know.
Yeah, because the underground thing with the work go just like what them have for Old Pastor. I hear that Old Pastor have underground wire running electricity. Yes. Why them not try that? Because Jamaica is a hurricane-prone country, you know. And you can't have the hurricane doing this thing to where every year.
Yes.
Yes.
I asked myself, I haven't asked it, I think a few years ago, I might have asked it on a live program with JPS. I can't remember the answer. But the devastation I'm hearing, and you know, talking to Sister P last night, and she's telling me that just going through some areas of Portland where you see light posts just all over the place, just blocking too, and to think of, you know, the time that will take now to where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Kingston, but what I'm saying is
Yes.
JPS is wasting revenue and cash by doing this thing every year. Every year when liquor storm come, they like mash up and...
It's because of the monopoly too, you know. JPS has a monopoly on this thing. And they fit the J out of it because it has nothing to do with Jamaica.
But they need to think about the underground thing. But what I'm saying, you know, say the government don't finish doing certain work after Gilbert, I know.
You know what? I was saying the very same thing. No, it sounds like a joke, but it's true.
Because all right, when you go down the waterfront in front of Digital Building,
yes,
you see the seawall that mash up and leak out. It's Gilbert.
Oh, that's Gilbert?
I've done that, you know. 1988, you know.
Yes.
And I know the government don't fix it back yet, you know.
Yeah, well.
Yes, the government don't fix it back yet. And that was 36 years ago.
Wow. And we are understanding this is a very active hurricane season, and here we have one coming out June, this powerful, you know, God forbid that there are any others behind that's coming at Jamaica, but you can't help but think about that kind of devastation if that happens. But we'll push that back, we'll push back that thought. We refuse to think that way. At the same time, we have to be prepared. But that's a long-term question. I think we ask JPS next time and see what they say.
Yeah, but Jamaica need more development, man, because Jamaica is a hurricane-prone country, so we need to fix up the place and be better than that, man. And the people who have put up zinc, the people who are use zinc as them roof, all them something there, zinc thing out of style, you know, man.
There has to be a new paradigm, but there has to be some kind of a leadership on this new paradigm, guiding the paradigm, just to show people that there's something else that can be done. When you're locked into a habit, you know, if for this new thinking, people are not just going to jump up and say, okay, no, I'm not going to use zinc. And if there's another thing you can use, then we need some kind of guidance on that.
Yeah, but I don't think them should allow people to have zinc roof.
So what them supposed to have?
Then, you know what, great man, you know, you have the shingle roof, you have the slab roof, and those things. You can't have zinc roof into a hurricane-prone country.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that there needs to be some guidance on the thinking, because people immediately think that the shingle will be too expensive. When you think about that, I mean, what is going to take?
No, but when the zinc fly off, you know, you have to go find back zinc again, and that will be expensive same way.
Exactly, I'm not disagreeing with you, you know.
And it can be dangerous too.
Yes, I saw a lady, I don't know if the video is true or not true, but me I look on it, it's a lady on a house top, a zinc house top with a tie down some roof. I don't know if it's true, I cannot believe what my eyes seeing. But if that is true, I mean, that was really, really dangerous.
And the zinc can be dangerous for the public because the zinc can fly off and chop off people's neck and all that.
Yes, yes. But I don't want to keep on too long because a lot of people are without electricity. Kingston people are lucky, you know, blessed. You had electricity right throughout this thing, right? You didn't lose your electricity?
No, not really. Around 2 days after. But I remember say the Kingston area kind of more... easier forget it. That's the whole areas and all that.
Well, true. All right. Thank you so much, my brother.
All right, then, cool.
All right. And kind of passed just south of Jamaica at Category 4, but in so doing, really created serious havoc on the southern coast and also on the northeastern coast. And that is why some of us in this area are still reeling from the effects. And talking about the southern coast, we're not hearing from our family there. Let us know if you can how you're doing, and if you've been able to reach out to your families there. Also, we're seeing the devastation though. Morning Joy Morgan, I got your text. She said it was really, really bad in St. Elizabeth, and I'm seeing the pictures coming out of St. Elizabeth. I'm telling you, our hearts go out to you, and we really do hope that in short order the people of St. Elizabeth and the southern coast of Jamaica and just everywhere that who are now experiencing all kinds of after effects of Hurricane Beryl, that you'll get the necessary resources that you need to kind of get back on your feet. And just to say to the rest of Jamaica that there might be something you can do to help, right? Because you never know. Sometimes you think, oh, well, I can't. How? But see if the Red Cross is assisting, see if Mustard Seed is assisting, see if the different charitable agencies, Food for the Poor, if they're assisting, and see how you could contribute into that. Because believe me, especially for people in Kingston and some other parts of Jamaica, and I'm seeing this morning that a big hunk of the audience this morning who are interacting with me, whether privately or otherwise, while I'm on air, are literally in Kingston. So I know that Kingston seem to be able to get up and turn your TV on or turn your radio on or make a telephone call or send a text and so on. And usually, on a morning like this, if we're opening the phone lines, majority of the text and information and calls and so on will be coming in from St. Elizabeth, Clarendon, Westmoreland, St. James, Portland, St. Thomas. And so this is how we know that our family in these parishes, St. Mary, are really struggling at the moment. How are you doing, my sister Winsome Callum from the JPS? Winsome, I'm just trying to find your number just now, and somehow it's not in my phone. But if anybody's listening who can give Winsome a call and tell us, I mean, I try to get her on the phone lines, just to hear from her about what's happening with the restoration of electricity generally across the island. So Winsome Callum, or anybody who can call Winsome for me. And Winsome, you know, we talk all the time, but I don't know why I'm not seeing your number right now. It's just one of them things.
No, it's from last night, nothing at all.
Wow. I'm very happy to hear you though. Where in St. Elizabeth are you?
I'm in New Forest.
Right. What's the situation there? What can you tell us about what's happening in St. Elizabeth?
It was on, it was on all day, but then it just went down, and nothing at all came from it, nothing at all.
Oh, you're talking about IRFM, you're not hearing IRFM?
Yes.
In St. Elizabeth,
down.
Yeah. Okay, so it's down.
Everybody is down, yeah.
All the stations are down, or you think IRFM is down everywhere?
Yeah, other ones, everybody's down.
Everybody's down. All right. Have you managed to go anywhere? What are you seeing? What is the situation like?
It's rough down here. We don't have any electricity as yet. The road is not clear as yet. Only the main road. All the roads leading to the communities are still blocked. No electricity, no water, nothing.
No water either?
No water, no electricity.
Wow.
And the irrigation water is down, the NWC, none at all, nothing.
Have you
it's
heard?
Really hard down here.
Oh, have you heard anything from NWC in terms of whether they will truck water?
Nothing at all, nothing. No, nobody turns up. The road are blocked same way. In my community, I can't go anywhere. I'm blocked back and forth.
So how you charge your phone?
I went to I had a generator at home. I had a generator at home.
Okay. So just to say to the National Water Commission that there are communities in St. Elizabeth, no water, nothing from JPS. We hear that the roads are blocked. Sorry, from National Water Commission. And So what does one do for water then, if they're not even trucking water? How are people...
Nothing at all. Nothing. It's really rough down here. It's a rough community from ever since. But it's worse now. Nobody pays us any mind.
Wow.
I don't know the councillor. I don't know the MP. I don't know nobody. I'm living down here 15, 16 years now. I don't know nobody at all.
Give me the name of the community again.
New Forest,
St. Elizabeth. Yeah. And it's not just New Forest as far as you know that is out of water.
Bull Savannah, Bull Sav, like all in and around surrounding areas.
Without water, without electricity.
Electricity. And the roads are blocked. That's the main problem. The roads are blocked. Can't get to go whenever you want. It's just blocked.
Wow.
Nothing can, and it's a farming area. Nothing can really come in the area.
What has happened to the farms? Any idea?
All the fruit trees are down. All the trees, every fruit tree, all the garden, the scallion, everything is down. Everything is down.
And this
thing is down.
Yeah.
It's just a rough moment now.
Is it raining?
Yes, it rained all day yesterday, all night last night, but it's stopped now. It's off. All up now.
You think that with the rain, some people probably might have been able to catch up some water?
Yeah, you can catch the water from the rain because it wasn't blowing the breeze that heavily. So you set out the catchment and we get a little water in the drum. But for drinking purpose or for other purposes, we have to treat it and use it. There's no other way out.
So which service you're on now, Flow or Digicel?
Digicel.
Okay. So we have Digicel up. So once again, just to say, there are many areas in St. Elizabeth that are still without water, running water, still without electricity.
The roads need to be cleared.
Yeah. We hear you loud and clear, my sister. What's your name?
My name is Anne.
All right, Anne, thank you so much. Keep in touch with us if you can. And I hear you saying that you're not able to hear IRA FM, so we're also hearing that. But thank you so much for calling.
You're welcome.
All right, and hope everything works out.
Who am I speaking with?
You're talking with Kabu.
Okay, Kabu. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Enjoy the rest of your day, darling.
You too, my darling. You too.
I will keep in touch.
Yes, please.
5 months some of these trees take to grow back.
Yes.
If we can catch the root and it can spring back, catch them up. Do.
And you're so right. This is what my husband has done because the breadfruit tree were blow down, him catch that back, put back the root and put some dirt over that. And the lemon tree, you put that back down in the earth and you hope and pray say it don't die. And I don't think that they'll die. They'll come back,
Yes, please, because we cannot. We as a poor country, even though we're rich, when I pass through certain areas, I see these fruit trees, I know that we're a poor country, but I just feel rich. And to feel as if we have lost all of this is like my heart a cry. Yes. Especially the breadfruit tree.
Especially the breadfruit. And
Jesus.
My sister, you see that point you make about the breadfruit, it is very serious. My daughter at the end of the day asked me, wonder why they call it breadfruit. I may explain to her, I say, I just look on the name alone because this is what protects so many Jamaicans from starvation over so many years. And then to look everywhere you go. Because my breadfruit season now, but then I start fit yet. And so that we have lost so much. So you are right. Thank you so much for that to remind us.
And another point, I just want Jamaican people to understand that we in the Caribbean, we have to brace each other. We have to, we need to understand that we need each other.
Yes.
Anything can happen, not just gang violence, and we need to shoulder each other. We might have to run to each other's country.
Yes.
So be careful how you treat your neighbors, because the other Caribbean countries are watching how you treat your neighbors to decide how to treat you. So when you decide to detain babies, if perchance we have a disaster and we need to run to another Caribbean country, they are watching how you are treating your neighbor to implement the same treatment.
Well said.
So be very careful how you, especially your closest neighbors. You can't pop no style on no neighboring Caribbean country.
Exactly.
We need to learn from this experience. Barbados, St. Vincent and Jamaica, learn. Look and learn from the lessons.
Well,
thank you very much.
I don't have to add anything. Thank you so much, my sister.
All right.
Well, actually, across Jamaica, the outlook is concerning. So we have to begin, and I'm not quite sure. I know the Minister of Agriculture is, he seems to be doing a pretty good job in terms of looking at his constituency, kind of reaching out for help, kind of being on the ground, just being there. I see him, and I literally see him in tears, talking about like Holland bamboo, for example, where we have lost so much bamboo trees. That's also another thing when they talk about the environmental impact. It's massive. So we see him there. But he he's got another portfolio, which is as Minister of Agriculture, and we're waiting to hear from him, what's the amount of damage that has been done to the agricultural sector, and what are the short-term solutions for farmers across Jamaica who have suffered devastating losses to their farms, to their fields. One thing we know that a lot of fruit trees, the mango trees in most of Jamaica, the mangoes are all gone. The ackee trees were just blossoming and some were young, and so that's another thing. So we've lost a lot of that. So the loss is plenty. And so how we're going to pull ourselves up now by our bootstraps and just put our shoulders to the wheel and ensure that we have some short-term crops and some short-term solutions in place so that the hunger don't strike us, because we can prevent it, but how we prevent it is a morning. Dairy in St. Mary is a mess right now. So dairy in St. Mary, can you say what you mean by a mess? Is it that you have, it was devastating there? I can just imagine it had to be. And then, do you have electricity? Do you have running water? Can you give me some more information? Basically, you're saying dairy in St. Mary is a mess right now, and that says a lot still.
I'm well. How are you?
I'm well, if you two are well.
I am well, if you are well. Give thanks.
Yes. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Kingston.
Okay. All right.
I'm a little curious if our leaders have given thought to the fact that we are a tourist destination. Mm-hmm. And perhaps when they're trying to evacuate people from Port Royal, mm-hmm. if they had the industry supply some rooms that would incentivize people to not face unsanitary conditions at the arena, mm-hmm. or to have insecurity, which was some of the concerns I heard the residents of Port Royal expressing, mm-hmm. or even, tertiary institutions like the University of the West Indies that have hundreds of rooms which are locked up now, especially. Mm-hmm. I kind of wonder. I saw where during Catherine in the United States, they took the people to Best Western hotels.
Mm-hmm. So what happened? What happened with Port Royal? You're saying that people were taken into areas
people refused to leave because they said that they were being taken from their homes mm-hmm. to less than appropriate conditions at the arena or those places that are designated as shelter. Mm-hmm. And my question is, in a country where we have tourism as an industry mm-hmm. and hundreds of rooms, why do we continue to think of hurricane shelters mm-hmm. as though we are housing people coming out of slavery?
Yeah, that's a very good point. During COVID, I recall that some hotels were used, and still, there were some serious problems. Remember that?
I'm not recalling the challenges.
Yeah, so there were some problems with that. But I get the point you're making, and as a young journalist, I remember covering hurricane shelters, right? And it's something that has stuck with me for years, is that why is it that when we're saying putting people in hurricane shelters, the areas have to be so unsanitary, so below standard, and so just everybody just bungle up, in our one place.
This is the point.
Yes.
This is the point that we more than have the capacity mm-hmm. to not treat people in the way that we're proposing to treat them at these times.
I agree with you.
The people who are organizing the the mobilization would not themselves go to these shelters. But then they're trying to advise citizens. That one of the persons I heard was very articulate. She said it was unsanitary and insecure, and she wasn't leaving her house for that. You know, and I'm struck by the fact that we couldn't in some way engage an industry.
Maybe it speaks to the extent of the public-private partnership that we hear so much about. And I'm not making any judgment on it. I'm not making a call because I'm just kind of talking this through with you. I know that whenever we interview politicians and you get to the private sector and what they can do and tourism comes into play, you hear about the public-private partnership. So I think the idea, the extent to which that covers other areas might be something to look at. But I can't disagree with you, and I'm not quite sure how much time we could go around it, but I really do agree with you on it.
Just wanted to put that out there so that we start to think of different ways of genuinely getting people out of danger.
Yeah, it is something to think about, and I think we need to raise it. Even as journalists, we need to raise it when those press conferences are happening. But thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
All right. It's a very good point he makes, because I remember this is something that struck me as a young journalist when I saw, I think, it was pretty early in the day, and it was just a tropical storm, actually, but it was forecasted to be lots of flood, and people had to be moving from high ground to low ground to low ground to high ground. But there were lots of shelters, and we were going through, Jamaica and looking at the shelters. And boy, I was just struck by the extent to which there wasn't much consideration given to people. It's almost as if animals, you were just kind of corralling animals into a closed enclosure, and you're going to leave them there. But so the point is a really, really good point. It is hard to say go to a shelter, but when you go, the security is below par. The sanitary conveniences are not necessarily working, and then people might argue, well, it's a flood, and at least you have your life. But no. When you have enough time, one of the things you can really do is to tap into those public-private partnerships. Pretty good point. All right, I don't have the numbers. I don't have the Supreme Ventures numbers to read to you. But if we could get them, I will read them to you. I'm not quite sure what happened at how this is happening. And let the municipal, if it's not decentralized, and let the municipal councils take care of the areas that they represent, get the councillors out. There has to be more movement on this. And this is why I say you have to depoliticize this. It cannot be partisan politics in any way, because there is a level of frustration that is setting in, and I understand it. I really do. So many of us can remember Gilbert in 88. Lots of us were children, young adults, young people, going to high school, or just leaving high school, or just going out into the working world. And for many of us, it was 3 months before you get back electricity, and you carry water on your head till you're tired. But that was 1988. We've come a long way, baby, and it's not Virginia Slims, We can do better. And I don't think I'm telling you anything that you don't already know or probably haven't thought about. But know that the frustration is setting in. When you don't have water to flush your toilet for more than 5 days, it's not just a personal problem, but also a health problem. When you don't have running water in your homes, and already we know a lot of Jamaican people are without running water, but, running water in many homes, when you don't have that, where children are involved, and we're on the summer holidays, when you don't have electricity, Yeah. We can't live without it, We can't live without electricity. We can't live without the water. Good morning.
Hi, President. Good morning. This is Camila from Westmoreland calling.
Okay. Hi, Camila. Good morning. Where in Westmoreland are you?
A district called Kingswood, which is pretty much Savannah Lamar. That's where I'm calling from.
Okay.
We have no lights still at all. Lots of places, no water. Luckily, we have a standpipe that's really low, but it's a dire situation. I have elderly parents, and it's really bad. Not a JPS truck inside. I don't know what I'm going to do.
And you haven't heard anything from them?
No, not at all.
What about the road? What about the roads? The roads are open?
Yeah, man. NWA do for them job. Them open up the roads, them and them cut up the limbs and debris. And for the main roads, I can't speak on the smaller roads, but like the main roads, they were doing good stuff. And then on the way to the grill, the roads were clear. And then I even saw a representative, I think the MP James, he had somebody out clearing the road and them cutting up everything. But they're doing what they were supposed to do. I mean, earlier, no, it was just local people clearing the roads, right? You know how Jamaicans were resilient.
Right.
And they were clearing the roads, but no water, no light. Yeah,
I can't. Yes, I can't even imagine that. What are people doing for water? Do you know where they're getting water from?
Well, I'm not certain. Where they're getting water from. Like a few people have them Delco. Right. If you have maybe a low line pipe, you have water with trickle. I'm not sure where others may be getting it from, but it's not easy. Like I said, if I never had a low line pipe with liquid trickling, I wouldn't have no water at all.
So National Water Commission, Westmoreland, once again, this is near to Sav. What's the name of the community?
Well, this is Kingswood, Landilo, Farm Pen, no light, no water.
Oh.
Yeah, Savannah, man. No water, no light, nothing, no way.
Not even Sav?
No, people have them Delco use or them generate, whatever, nothing. There's no light. There's no light.
Yeah, but that's on the main, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and Digital just come back like a couple hours ago. If my parents weren't have foresight to buy a battery radio, that's the only way I hear you, because we don't have no line.
Goodness gracious me. I can totally empathize with you, because I'm just coming through a similar thing. Got light a few hours before we came to work this morning. So, but at least we had water. But, so the situation with the running water, I think this is critical. This is urgent. National Water Commission, Savannah Lamar, Landilo, all of that area without water. If I even truck the water into the area, the road's clear.
Yeah, Kingswood. You mean not Kingswood? You mean need water in a fear, you know, right? You know, Kingswood. Yeah, like me, one small community. You know, my auntie are 80-something years old. My mother nearly 80. My father 75. Like, seriously, suppose them that have major issues. You know what I mean? They have them little heart issues, but suppose them they need to depend on no kind of machine and nothing, all right.
You can't truck water by now. Contractors should be available to truck waters if you don't have enough trucks. And this is why I was saying that the municipal councils have to take over, get involved in this in a serious way, and decentralize the thing so that different communities, all the communities that need to be served, are served urgently.
Yeah, it seems like the council them are work, but nobody now listen. You understand? Council seem like they're working, because that's just 1 and 2. Yeah. But no, we not see nothing now going, no traction. No traction at all. Yeah,
well, let us hope, my sister, that after this call, that we'll see some water trucked to the area until I'm ready to turn back on the pipe. Can we understand the turbidity?
And it's like the parish.
Yeah, rain falling?
It stopped now, earlier. Last night to maybe 7:30. It stopped now, though. But that is where I am in, like I said, Sav area.
Yes.
But I heard there was heavy rains other places.
Listen, man, National Water Commission, do better than that. All right, my sister, all the best.
All right, thank you. Everybody stay up and do what they can.
Yeah,
all righty.
Take care,
okay.
Take care.
Yeah, man, bye-bye.
National Water Commission, we need to get some water trucked into Landilo, Kingswood, all those areas. That's a whole other Sav area there. Get some water to the people. You can truck the water, because you see, the thing is, you're talking about Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and today is Sunday. So now you're talking about 5 days without running water. And that is too much. So you have to straddle the thing as best as you can. And I know there's pressure on the system. Don't think I don't know. I said that early this morning. I understand the pressure on the system. I understand that you're asking people to be patient. But when it comes to running water, 5 days without running water now, in the middle of a hurricane, and the aftermath of a hurricane, that is a recipe for disaster. Straddle it, and it cannot be who know who situation. Because I have a texture from someone who's saying that in her community, it's a who know who. Water truck come through and it just breeze gone at other people's yard. And so not everybody's getting it. So there is also that. But it can't be that way. Can't be that way there. And don't send me a video. But I'm seeing a video here now, and this river is in spate. I mean, this is madness. Yeah, this looks like a real serious flooding. When is this happening? Is this happening now? And is this also in Bushy Park? Yeah, let me know. You just sent me a video of a serious, it looked like a, flooding happening here. In Kabu, my name is Charlene. I'm here in the Jamaica working with an organization called Mobile Medical International. We are a group of nurses and emergency responders. We wanted to check in and see if you know of any areas that are in need of medical care after a storm. Please let us know and we can try to get there to help. Way to do this, Charlene, is to go through the Ministry of Health. Okay? I know their offices are open, and so that's the best way to do this, because they would know and they would also be able to vet what you are going in to do, because that's important as a charitable organization. And thank you so much for yourself, for the nurses who have come in. And I suppose maybe you're already working with the Ministry of Health. So just check back with them, go to the clinic or the hospital, or just go to the Ministry of Health offices, and they'll be able to give you the areas where citizens are in need of medical care. I'm sure I'm seeing quite a bit coming from different parts of, especially southern Jamaica. But just to ensure that you're in the right spaces. Another one, it says, Sister Kabu, we mash up here in East Portland. Lots of power lines down. This is the president of the Blue Lagoon Alliance, Colin Beckford. We talk Blue Lagoon another time. Colin, my brother, I'm sorry to hear that. He says, we mash up here in East Portland, lots of power lines down. Wow. Sister P was telling me that yesterday. Wow. And that's a whole other area from what Sister P told me that she herself saw. So I know that Portland got it really hard. And let me know, Colin, do you have running water in that area? What's the situation in terms of what you're hearing from JPS, if anything, from the National Water Commission? Is there any message you want me to send out using this medium? Please let me know, okay? So this is Colin, the president of the Blue Lagoon Alliance, just writing in to say, East Portland, not hearing from a family. Usually you open the phone line on a Sunday morning, and I'm telling you this, the calls are coming in from St. Elizabeth, Clarendon, Westmoreland, St. Mary, Portland, St. Thomas, St. Catherine. These are the areas that you don't have, we have to be going between the WhatsApp lines and the telephone lines. Our listeners are coming in like crazy. Also from Kingston, but I'm talking about the overwhelming amount of calls that would have been coming in from these areas. And the fact that we're not hearing you this morning, we know, and we're feeling with you, and we're not leaving you alone. We're going to stand up here until 10 o'clock, and we're standing up from 6 to ensure that the authorities know that you are in need. And so these are areas that are in need right now. And I know that there's focus on the areas where the cameras are, because I'm listening to what is being said. I know there's focus on where the politicians are, because we say to the utility companies, reach out as best as you can and straddle the thing. Do not make this a campaign, partisan political campaign for the election that might be called right outside of the hurricane, just like our COVID did call right in the middle of COVID with people's trauma. Back to the phone lines. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Kabu.
Hi, good morning. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Days Mountain, Arakabesa.
Yeah, what's the situation there?
The light in Days Mountain, from the storm blow, you don't even see a JPS truck.
Oh.
Not even a truck to come through to see the condition, because they are actually did block the road. Mm-hmm. The councillor come through the morning after the hurricane. The councillor come through and get the man to cut down that ackee tree out of the road. But there are light posts, 3 light posts burst on the road. And until now, you don't see a JPS truck come through the district.
All right.
Not even to look what it is.
Oh, JPS. And we know contractors are out there. We know JPS out there on the road. So, Arakabesa, Days Mountain in Arakabesa. You're saying three light posts up on the road, but there's no fire though.
No fire. Just those 3 light posts. And you have top Days Mountain and you have bottom. But it's at the top district where you pass that big gray tank. Mm-hmm. There was an ackee tree there, but the councillor got it cut down.
Right.
So there are a lot of light posts, 3 light posts burst down on the road going around.
All
so
right.
just that's the problem for us to get back the light in here.
Yes. So let us speak directly now to JPS. Days Mountain, top Days Mountain, bottom Days Mountain. Days Mountain is without electricity still. You have light posts lying down on the road.
Yes.
Please, as soon as you can, pay some attention to Days Mountain. What about the main? The main road in Arakabesa? Do they have electricity on the main?
I don't know if they get. I don't know, because the supermarket using Delco.
Okay.
I don't think they get any light down there.
Okay. All right. So Arakabesa. Water. Sorry. What about running water? Do you have running water?
I don't have any problem with water coming because I have plastic tanks.
Okay.
I don't have any problem with water.
All right. Brilliant. So once again, just a shout out to JPS, Days Mountain, Arakabesa. Pay some attention. Thank you, my sister, and I hope that you'll get your electricity soon.
Okay, thank you.
All right. They sent out just 4 minutes ago. And it says, working. Our teams are outside and committed to restoring your power. And then they say, here's a list of locations. You'll see our crews working today. If your community is not listed, not to worry, we are coming. And they say, stay tuned for more updates. So the communities they have listed are St. James, sections of Bogue, Freeport up to Lagoons, Fairfield, Tucker, Irwin, Montego Bay Town, West Green, Retirement, Unity Hall, Great River Private, Alice Eldermeyer Drive. And then St. Thomas, sections of Belvedere, Friendship, Belfast, Morant Bay, Church Corner, sections of Retreat, White Horses, Whitehall, Pondside, sections of Yallas, Prospect to Port Morant, Seaforth to Soho, Whitehall, Golden Valley, Middleton, Spring Garden, Summit, Highbury, Logan Lane, Roselle, and South Haven. And then in Kingston and St. Andrew, sections of Old Hope Road, sections of Shortwood Road, Barbican, Norbrook, East Kings House Road, Graham Heights, Golden Spring, Stony Hill, Oak Ridge, Armour Heights, Lakehurst, Stillwell Road, Manor Park, Constant Spring, Havendale, Plymouth, sections of Cherry Gardens, Long Lane, Jacks Hill, Queen Hill, sections of Temple Hall, Duhaney Park, sections of Mona, Beverly Hills, and Long Mountain. Queen Hill, Sterling Castle, Red Hill, Shortwood Road, Olivier Road, Millsboro, Papine, Utech, Gordontown Road, Roehampton Drive, Deanery Road, Piccadilly, Marusca Road, including Ministry of Health and the National Water Commission, Ministry of Education, Orange Street, Newport. And there are more parishes, so let me look at that. Hope Bay, Orange Bay, Buff Bay, and Hart Hill. In St. Mary, Fishtown, St. John's Road, Job Lane, Beacon Hill, St. Jago Heights, Thompson's Pen, Sligoville, Waterloo District, Greendale, Old Harbour Town, Marley Mount, Gutters, Old Harbour Bay, Bushy Park, Springville, New Harbour Village 123, Claremont Heights, Charlemont Gardens, Roan Park, Bannister Road, Red Ground, sections of Barton's, Colbeck, Bodles, Big Lane, New Harbour Village, Old Harbour Square, Charlemont Heights, Darlington Drive, Old Harbour Gardens, Greater Portmore, Brayton, Westport, Port Henderson Road, Bridgeview, Passage, Fort, the commercial complex of Port Henderson Road, Bridgeport, Edgewater, Port Henderson Road, Bridgeport, yes, so that's Bridgeport again, Bridgeport, Edgewater, Passage Fort, the commercial complex at Port Henderson Road, supply up to Megamart, Waterford, Portsmouth, Westchester, Independence City, Newlands Road, Cumberland, Garvermead, Westmead, Southborough, Grange Lane, Portmore Town Centre, Dyke Road, and Cedar. It says, Andy from Black River, South St. Elizabeth is devastated! Exclamation sign. No electricity, no NWC water in Black River. Phone service only since last night. Only Irie we could pick up in South St. Elizabeth. I hate when Kingston people speak for Jamaica that we were spared. Dangerous light pole falling down in front of Black River Hospital. Emergency JPS. Dangerous light pole falling down in front of Black River Hospital. Emergency JPS. I know that there's a little thing happening, right, where there's a narrative out of Jamaica that Jamaica was spared. And that is true to some extent. But lots of Jamaica has been devastated. And we're not overstating it or understating. We're just saying what it is. It is what it is. And that's what we're dealing with this morning. Get a lot. They knew that we would forget our names, forget who we are. They knew that we would forget that we were Africans. They knew that we would forget a lot of our culture. But they knew that if they buried that word in our subconscious, if we had it on our tongue, if we just say it, then we would have buck up on it as a Shona word and would have said to each other, you know, said a word, I mean, Ubuntu. Our ancestors were very deliberate. A lot of our culture, a lot of our word, a lot of the African retention come from Southern Africa and deliberately was left inside of our, in the lexicon. And I hope that you'll be okay. All right. So my sister said to me, because I was saying something about regale or regale, and she says it is Mount Regal. Mount Regal. Which parish was that again? I've never heard about that place before, but anyway, so R-E-G-A-L-E, Mount Regal. All right, Mount Regal, and that is, it looked like it is in St. Mary. Shame on me. All right, slap on the wrist. Slap, slap, slap. Just spoke about. I know everyone's been up in arms because the Prime Minister spoke about monitoring or censoring, it would appear, social media, the need to monitor fake news, to censor fake news and so on, and the fact that the government has access to resources that can track people on the social media, you know, who is posting what and so on. A lot of people are afraid of it, frightened of it, and I understand why, and that's a whole conversation to be had. On the other hand, I want to say something, and it needs to be said. And so, I also want to make myself available to assist the Prime Minister in this regard, and that is, so we have a bigger problem. We have a much bigger problem, and that is, obviously, yes, there's fake news out there. Obviously, yes, people are misusing the social media. What is not happening in Jamaica is classes or courses on social media literacy, or media literacy for that matter. And I think the only way to cauterize this is not to censor social media or to track people, but to teach our young ones from kindergarten to sixth form media literacy. So we need to begin to put those courses in high school, in basic school, in kindergarten, in primary school, at all levels. We cannot shirk our duty on this. There are some courses that I saw where CXC was trying to get some courses of the curriculum and of the syllabus for CXC. And CXC was right. There are some courses that are outdated that you have to just get rid of. Remember when we get rid of typewriting? And then there are some new courses that we have to put in place to meet the global environment and the geopolitical environment and the digital environment and where we are as a people globally. And that, I think, one of the most significant things we can do, one of the most important things we can do right now to address the ignorance, the lack of knowledge, the what seems like irresponsible behavior among our young people generally, is to start somewhere. And it's not too late to start. So that from kindergarten, from basic school, we need to implement courses in all of these spaces on social media literacy. Has to be one of the most important courses that we teach right now, alongside math and science. And also media literacy. So, we're separating these two for a reason. I'm willing, Mr. Prime Minister, to assist you in this regard. Making myself available, Big A, publicly, to help to implement in basic school, kindergarten school, primary school, high school, all the way up to sixth form, courses on social media literacy and media literacy. It is very, very important. We'll pick up on that discussion later on. I was just asking about your cherry trees. Mr. Big A is in the house. Big A, grab the mic. Big A, here. Big A, is that a turntable? Get on it. Yeah. So Mr. Big A is in the house just a few minutes before we check out. But here we are. After the storm. Big A, you can grab a mic. Here we are, Big A, after the storm. Wow, what a storm. You get back late?
No. Okay.
You never get back late. A few hours ago. Like, late last night.
Let me string up, man.
Oh, string up a stuff. I can't believe. Because you're not on the charge of them something there.
Yeah. I charge the phone in my car.
Okay, yes. What about the computer? Your laptop?
I came down here.
Oh, because you worked last night, anyway.
Yes.
What's your bag?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I had the privilege,
But you have water, though?
No, I don't have water either.
You saw me,
No, normally at least in my community,
mm-hmm.
when light gone, water gone, because you need water.
Oh, yes, because
you need water to power
you need light to power the pump.
The pump.
And so we now have a generator at the pump.
Right.
Wow. What about you're here, so the roads must be clear now.
The roads have been cleared. And, I just wanted to since I'm on the mic, since
since the microphone,
since
a minute to 10 on the microphone open. Yes.
No, you know, the conversation, you know, with several persons I'm having is, you know, them questioning about JPS left, right, and centre. I said, but JPS turn off the light and them for turn it back on, no, and that kind of thing. And I just want to have a different reasoning a little bit, right? Asking people just to ease off of the fire a little bit and just apply some logic in the process. It is the easiest of things to do is to start on our GPS.
Let me just say this so our listeners understand that we have not spoken about this at all, and we have the very same response.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Very same. And this, I'm looking at you because we have this is exactly this is what I've been saying all morning.
No, really. Because what happened is that, it's persons with critical thinking and critical thought. I'm having this conversation with, you know. And I just want to say before I say this, I don't have no light, I don't have no water, I don't have no internet, I don't have any of these privileges, right? I have to be cooking food that me never planned for cooking next week.
I need to come up there.
right? Yes. And after my food is going, is being spoiled.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So let me get that out of the way. I'm not privileged in any way more than anybody else.
Yes, I mean, just get mine last night. Well, before day this morning.
No, well, mine not come back yet. Yeah, I am suffering.
Yeah.
But remember that the out of an abundance of caution, the GPS turn off the light. But you have to remember that out of an abundance of caution, them are going to turn it back on. They have to apply the very same reasoning. Now remember that there could be burnt wires, burnt transformers, and worst of all, dangling wires that are loose.
Yes.
That if you turn it on back, persons are going dead.
It'll create more damage than
it is going to create more damage. So what is needed is going to be a physical inspection of these various lines before them turn it back on.
Yes.
Remember now that a lot of these roadways are also blocked. So the GPS people have a challenge in getting to these neighborhoods to do their...
Just to interrupt 1 minute, just what we're hearing from a lot of our listeners this morning is the communities are going out there and clearing the roads in anticipation of JPS coming in. So that is brilliant community spirit.
Of course, we're not waiting on NWA and that kind of thing. So the GPS persons can come in to do their work and to do their stuff. So I ask people to just be a little bit patient because every day we see where more and more communities are being restored to giving back their basic amenities.
I agree with you.
So even though we might down on the last near the end, we could be just a little bit more patient.
I agree with you.
And you know, by the time a little bit.
Yeah, I do agree with you. And the point you make about the downed wires, and I mean, we come the same direction to come work. And I'm looking at that area from Reggae Beach to say, Sans Souci. That's, I think some of those areas, I think electricity is there, but I'm still a little bit wary about how them trees they look.
For real.
Because if them a drop on wire, them out to drop on with cars.
Right.
So I think there's this, for those of us who are in areas where the storm really blow, is that we get a proper category 4. Good thing we roof them still on. We're seeing the trees, and I'm hearing from Portland this morning that there are so many light poles that are down, broken into, from Port Antonio to Manchonil and beyond. That also it gives you a pause for concern. But I think one of the questions that we probably need to raise also is, what about resources, human resources? Are they lacking in human resources? Is it that they're understaffed? Could this be done faster? And these are, I think these are proper relevant questions.
A reasonable answer to that, though. I'm a layman to how GPS operates. But I don't think you would be staffing your company on a day-to-day basis with this extra.
No, but what about the contract workers? Because remember they had contract workers going through the island all of for the last 6 months, just bushing it. A good thing they were doing that actually. They had
to do what? I mean, can they restore the power?
Well, that's a very good point. That's a very good point.
So, what are they? What are you contracting them to do?
So, do you think that there's an argument for JPS to contract engineers then from, say, UTEC or UE or NCU?
It could be,
or from the.
I mean, as I said, just from a layman's perspective, it could be one of the solutions to have them contracted on call or whatever else it is, especially in this season. In this season.
Yeah. But the water situation is a whole other situation, because I think that if there's turbidity or JPS and the pump now work, then you're supposed to be trucking water.
Yes.
That not seem to be happening.
No.
On a great scale.
On a great scale, yeah. And not often enough. You don't realize the amount of water you use until you don't have it.
I'm telling you, it is phenomenal. And we can. So you manage for water? You have well?
No, I have 2 drums.
Okay.
I have 2 drums, so back into the old days, I carry water.
It's a while, Gilbert.
With a pail and all of this.
I need to request a song because I couldn't play it in Running African, but I know you can start with it.
Which one? Which song is that?
The storm is over now.
Oh, you mean the Grace Chillers? Eh?
Yeah.
No, I did play it.
You played it?
I did play it on Tuesday. No. Storm is over. No.
Storm is over.
No. I played Take Me Through the Storm.
Oh, Take Me Through the Storm. You told me that. All right. So may I request a Storm is over now. And even though rain falling still and so on and so forth, but a little song there in my mind, you know it go already. And
one of the earworms? You call them earworms.
Yes.
In your head, you just can't get them out.
Right. And it's such a lovely song too, you know. All right, so this is how we say goodbye. We're leaving it with Mr. Big A. And remember, you're not good company. You don't have no water and no light either.
No, it is easy. It's so easy to say. You can go and talk, because you don't know what we are suffering.
Big A. I just last night me get light.
No, I know. So I'm saying no. What person's listening now?
Okay.
And my position. Probably.
Yeah.
The first thing is to say, you don't know what we are suffering.
Yeah, man. Make Big game go on, man. Big game. All of time.
We have time.
Right. Yeah. So we're making way for the Big A inside of the Sunday Sunshine. Thank you so much. My name is Kabu. See you next week, and I hope by the time we come back, you get back your water and you get back your light. 7 after 10 o'clock. Making way.